Hi everybody, Mrs. Giroux here on day 45. Today we started the principles of art, and we talked about the posters that are up here on the cabinet doors, and we reviewed all of the elements, which we've all covered so far, and then we began the principles, which are on the left-hand side of the cabinets. And so I relate this to ingredients and recipes. So if your elements of art, such as line, shape, color, form, value, texture, if all of those are your ingredients, what you do with them, or your recipe, are going to be your principles, such as balance. And I gave the example of, for instance, if you were going to use balance, which is our unit we're on right now, if you were going to use 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of sugar, for instance, that would be symmetrically balanced. Okay, it's how you used, your balance is how you use your ingredients, and your ingredients were line and shape. I just put in place of those an ingredient, like a real ingredient. Okay, so if you were going to do asymmetrical balance, which we're going to learn in just a moment, bottom of this cabinet door, right there at the very, very bottom where the green box is, if you're going to do asymmetrical, a recipe might be 2 cups of flour and 1 cup of sugar, or in other words, 2 types of lines and 1 type of shape, perhaps. So we talked about how to use our elements, and those are called principles, and they are balance, contrast, emphasis, movement, pattern, rhythm, and unity at the very end. And you can also find these on our Pinterest page. Okay, so we went to our eClass page and we did the preview and acquire. We watched the videos on both of those. I'm going to show you in just a moment, and discussion. The examples on the board, which I'm going to show you. We did a handout, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. And indicated they were showing me that they understood the 3 types of balance, and we're saving that in our portfolios. Then we went over to our progress tracker, and I gave them each their 9-week grade, which they placed the top of the second page of the progress tracker. We talked about last week that your PowerPoint presentations were due, and we're doing those so that we can share them with each of the classes, and hopefully those that were missing out on that will get those turned in tomorrow. Okay, so this week we're on week 10, Principles of Art and Design. Our first unit is balance. Okay, and the very last thing we did today was something really fun. You probably did it back when you were in elementary school, as a symmetrical balance design done with paint. We also discussed how and why we would need to use this in our everyday lives. And students discussed landscape design, where their door was placed on the outside of their house. If it's right in the middle and you've got a window to the right and a window to the left, that would be an example of symmetrical balance or symmetry. And how all of these relate to the balance principle. We talked a lot about photography. And if you're a type of person that likes your center of interest smack dab in the middle, perhaps you're more of a symmetrical design person. You prefer that. Okay, so let's go up here to our eClass page, and this is on unit week 10 preview unit balance. Just find the unit on balance. You're going to scroll down. We read through some of that. This is a video I need you to watch. It's very, very good. It's going to show you some examples and let you guess which type of balance they are. You need to make sure you're listening to the reason behind it, because there are a few tricky ones in there. We had some good discussions on why it was symmetrical or radial or asymmetrical. Okay. And let's see. Then this is the other video, and this can be found on the Acquire page. So this is the, sorry, not video, this is the slideshow. Really important that you watch that, go through that. Seems like there are a lot of slides, but they go very quickly. And that slideshow can be found on the acquire page. Let me get to that. Right. So this is the acquire page, and that's the balance slideshow. You'll just click on this right here. Okay. So you're watching two things on eClass. The first is a video, and then the second one is on acquire. The first is on preview, the second one is on acquire. Okay, and read through that information if you missed the entire class. You'll need to catch up on that. All right, then go up here. Anytime you're asked what we're studying, we always have it posted over here on this little board with some examples, balance, okay? And then over here we have a couple examples. I told them it's a pretty easy week because we're focusing just on 3 definitions. Okay? We're going to explore works of art which show different types of balance, such as artworks with symmetry, artworks with asymmetry, and artwork that has radial balance. And then starting tomorrow, we're going to work on our project, which is the Japanese notan. Today we had fun talking about fireplace design and how the one on the left is symmetrical, right? So think about your fireplace. If you have a mantle, how are things arranged? It's not right or wrong. It's your preference. So the one on the right, you can see the 3 candlesticks on the left, on the right, and then a group of objects on the left of it. And so this one is more asymmetrical. Okay, asymmetrical is a type of balance. This is equal balance. Okay, your symmetrical balance is also known as formal balance. Asymmetrical is also known as informal. It's not talking about the objects you use, it's talking about the structure of the balance. Radial design, the best example I can give you is like radiating sunshine, rays of sunshine, a daisy where it has a center and the petals are radiating out from that, fireworks perhaps, snowflake, anything that has something in the center and your design is radiating out from that. And we continued talking about different ways in which we would use the principle of balance in our daily lives. And again, we talked about math. You're already familiar with a lot of these words. Landscape design, construction someone brought up, which was very good. Constructing something, do you want it symmetrical? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Photography, if you're taking selfies, are you right in the middle? Another assignment I gave them to do at home, which is to look at yourself in the mirror, hold 1/2 of a piece of paper vertically on 1/2 of your face, dividing your nose and your chin and your forehead in half, and then switch it to the other side as you're staring at yourself in the mirror, and you will see that even though you are symmetrical, it's not an exact mirror image, even though you don't look like anything's out of the ordinary, right? As you're looking at yourself when you see both sides, but as you individually look at the sides, you'll see some differences. We want to be able to discuss that tomorrow in class. This is our poster again on balance. Right there. And it always stays up there, so you can, when you get back to class, you can take a look at that. Some great examples up there. The next thing we did was something that you're probably familiar with doing in elementary school. Okay, some examples. And this is the first step to actually, we're going to turn that into some kind of art project coming up. We took a long piece of 12 by 18 piece of paper. We folded it hot dog style. Okay, like that. We opened it up. We put 3 dots of just tempera paint. All right, 3 dots. And we didn't put them too close to the top. We put one more there, and one kind of right about there. It doesn't really matter. Just little dots about the size of a dime. And once they were there, we folded the piece of paper back in half. We made sure we were pushing to this side rather than straight up and down like that, because the paint would come squirting out of the end. We don't want that to happen. All right, and then when they open them up, you can see that these were our designs. And again, I believe that you probably did this in kindergarten, 1st or 2nd grade. It's so fun to do this with different colors as well. But this is going to be a little project we do at the end of each class. It's not your project grade, it's your classroom grade. So when these were opened up, I asked the class what type of design this was. Is it radial? Is it asymmetrical? Or is it symmetrical? Okay, and everyone got this correct. These are all examples of symmetry. So here's another good one. Right here. Okay. When you look at it like this, you can tell that that person mashed it down like that, right? And then when they opened it up, flattened it out, you have an example of symmetrical design. Okay. Again, I talked with them about finishing up their other grades this week, making sure that you're going back on your progress tracker, even the first 9 weeks, and completing things that you may have missed. Okay. You need to make sure you're doing that. And we will start on the next project, the main project tomorrow. So hope to see you. It's on Notan art, Japanese Notan. So if you want to go ahead and look that up, you might see some fantastic artwork. I think you will. Oh, one other thing we did, sorry, forgot about this. We did the worksheet packet, and this we stored inside our portfolios. So as a check for understanding, they had to draw an example of radial design right over here, an example of symmetrical design, and an example of asymmetrical design. I am not, and I told them this, grading on how beautiful your drawing is. I'm grading you on the concept. Are you getting the concept of these 3 different designs? And that's in this worksheet packet that I passed out and that we're going to keep inside our portfolios. Okay, because there's something to do each day in this. Okay? All right, there we go. Hope to see you tomorrow.